Imagine saving $20,000 for the first time in your life. 3 years of discipline. No vacations, no upgrades, no fun. And then, just 6 months later, you're back at $3,000, staring at your bank app thinking, where the hell did it go? That moment, right after you finally save real money, is the most dangerous moment in your entire financial life. Hello, I'm Sid. And today I'm going to show you why this exact moment decides whether you build real wealth or stay stuck working forever, because right after you hit that savings goal, your brain starts whispering, you deserve this. Upgrade your life. Stop living like a broke student. And that voice is the difference between people who retire rich and people who work until they die. The real problem. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Saving $20,000 is not the hard part. That just takes time and discipline. The hard part is what you do next. There are only 2 things that happen after you hit $20,000. Either you slowly turn it into hundreds of thousands of dollars over time, or you burn it trying to look successful. And that decision is usually made in the first few weeks after you reach that goal. Your brain wants certainty. The market gives volatility. Your brain wants pleasure now. Wealth requires patience for decades. This isn't about being smart. This isn't about knowing secret strategies. It's about psychology. Most people fail at this stage not because they don't understand money, but because they can't control themselves. High-interest debt comes first. So let's start with the most important question. Do you have debt charging more than 7% interest? I'm talking about credit cards, personal loans, and high-interest student loans. If you have $10,000 on a credit card at 22% interest, you are not investing. You are bleeding. That debt will take around 25 years to pay off and cost you about $14,000 in interest alone. Think about that. You borrowed $10,000 and end up paying the bank more than that just for the privilege of borrowing it. Now compare that to investing. If you invest $10,000 in the stock market and you're lucky, you might make around 10% per year. But on the debt side, you are paying a guaranteed 22%. So mathematically, you are paying 22% to maybe earn 10%. That is volunteering to lose money every single day. This is why the rule is simple. Anything over 7% interest gets eliminated before you invest a single dollar. Not because it feels good, but because the math demands it. The emergency fund. Once high-interest debt is gone, most people want to jump straight into investing. That's where they make the next mistake. Because before investing, you need an emergency fund. If you're single with stable income, you need about 3 months of expenses saved. If you have a family, a mortgage, or unstable income, you need closer to 6 months. This money is not for growth. It is not for profit. It is insurance. Because life will happen. Your car will break. You might lose your job. A medical bill will appear. Something will go wrong. And if all your money is invested when that happens, you have only bad choices. You sell investments at the worst time. You use credit cards, or you panic. And panic is how people destroy years of progress in weeks. Your emergency fund should sit somewhere boring and safe. Not the stock market, not crypto, not risky investments. Somewhere liquid, somewhere boring. Because this fund isn't earning interest. It's earning peace of mind. And peace of mind is what allows you to stay invested when markets crash. The most powerful account you can open now comes the fun part. Once debt is handled and your emergency fund exists, this is where real wealth building starts. A Roth IRA. Here's why it matters. Every dollar that grows inside a Roth IRA is tax-free forever. Not tax-deferred, not reduced tax, zero tax. If you put $7,500 into a Roth IRA at age 25 and it grows at about 10% per year, by retirement that single deposit becomes over $300,000, and you owe nothing in taxes on that growth. That is one of the most powerful financial tools available to normal people. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but it quietly turns time into money. How to invest without ruining your life. Now here's where most people mess up. They open an account, and then they panic. They start researching individual stocks. They look for the next big thing. They follow TikTok tips. They ask Reddit what to buy. This is how people turn investing into gambling. Instead of betting on one company, you should be betting on the entire system. Buy broad index funds. When you buy an index fund, you're not picking winners. You're buying the whole economy. Some companies will fail. Some industries will disappear. But the overall market has always recovered and grown over time. Your job is not to be brilliant. Your job is to not interfere. The more boring your strategy is, the more likely it is to work. What compounding really looks like. Let me show you what patience does. If you invest $20,000 and it grows at 10% per year, after 10 years, about $52,000 after 20 years, about $135,000 after 30 years, almost $350,000 same money, no extra effort. Now add just $500 per month. Over 30 years, that turns into more than $1.5 million. That's enough to generate around $60,000 per year without touching the original amount. That is financial independence. And it comes from boring consistency. The price of waiting. Now let's talk about procrastination. If you wait just 5 years to start investing, you lose over $130,000 in the long run. Not because you spent it, but because you lost time. And time is the only resource you can never get back. Procrastination doesn't cost money, it costs your future. What destroys most people? Let's talk about what not to do. Do not try to time the market. Do not day trade. Do not chase crypto tips. Do not invest in things you don't understand. Around 90% of day traders lose money in a market that goes up over time. That's like drowning in a swimming pool. Most people would make more money by doing nothing than by trying to be clever. The real enemy, lifestyle inflation. Now for the most dangerous part. You hit $20,000. Suddenly your car feels old, your apartment feels small. You think you deserve an upgrade. That $400 car payment? Invested for 30 years, it becomes over $800,000. You didn't buy a car. You sold your future. And the worst part? In 3 years, that car feels normal. And you'll want another upgrade. This is how people stay broke while earning more money. They don't lose income. They lose discipline. The simple framework. If you have $20,000, this is the boring but effective plan. Kill high-interest debt. Build an emergency fund. Max out a Roth IRA. Buy index funds. Automate monthly investing. That's it. No secret tricks. No magic strategy. No risky bets. Just consistency. Closing. There are only 2 paths from $20,000. One leads to $350,000 and beyond. One leads back to zero with a nicer car. The difference isn't luck, it isn't intelligence, it isn't timing, it's behavior. Can you invest while others spend? Can you hold while others panic? Can you ignore shiny distractions? Because wealth isn't built by being clever, it's built by being consistent. Be boring. Get rich. Let compound interest work while you live your life.